So Roger
Two in
Federer
love.
there in his press conference, and from one great to another, we have the pleasure of being joined by Rod Laver, Australian tennis legend. Thank you so much for coming by to US Open Now. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Rod. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Yeah?
Good. We just want that nice and tight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
How you
well,
doing?
I can't complain.
Welcome
No,
back.
this-
50th anniversary of your 1969 Grand Slam.
Is that why we're here?
Congratulations. Yes.
Yeah, well, we like
among
you.
other
The
things.
50th anniversary. Yeah, no, I was thrilled because at the time, when I was deciding whether to turn pro or not in '63, and I just had to mention. I said, I'm never going to see Wimbledon again. Won't see the U.S. Won't see the French ever again. And then, bit by bit, Wimbledon sort of forced open tennis.
Yep.
And so it's a thrill to be able to be back playing, or then in '69 playing, all the tournaments again.
When tennis became open.
Yeah, and it was,
What's the biggest difference that you notice in tennis now versus back in the 60s? The US
Yeah.
Open is massive undertaking, and it continues to grow.
yeah. Well, from a player's standpoint, it's certainly the new rackets. Yeah, and of course I use wooden rackets all my life, but now the game is so much better. The quality of play, it's just amazing how the new players have understood the mechanics of what you can do with a graphite racket or a composite racket, and so that's one big change, and of course having 3 million on the line. Is a good reason why you try your best.
Come on, Rod. You were playing for 3 million too, right? Rod, we were just looking at some pictures of you from your playing career, and obviously you didn't play here at this venue, but when you come back to the US Open, what sort of flavors or tastes or sounds or what memories come back for the US Open in you?
Well, out here, of course, it's so much bigger, and being able to play on the center court with 22,000 people there, it's got to be amazing. 'Cause, I would think, not that I'm going to get nervous, but I mean, you would think the pressure of it would really, kick in if you're a young player playing a seeded player. I would think it'd be amazing amount of pressure, but at the same time, that's the reason why we're here, and you're getting used to playing under those circumstances, and the Federers did it, and the Nadals and Djokovic, that's where they came from, and I think that's sort of a great thing. But the USTA, which everybody knew that they had to move away from the West Side Tennis Club because it's a private club.
Yeah.
But to where they've brought this place, it's just amazing to see, what's happened out here, and the amount of people that participate.
Ash Barty, unfortunately, fellow Aussie, didn't have success today, was eliminated early on for a 2 seed. But overall, how would you assess the strength of Australian tennis? There are a number of other really good players here who have had good campaigns so far.
Yeah, and I think, Ash Barty, she was always a good player. But when she won the French Championship, she jumped a whole lot of rungs. And she says, well, I'm a player. I know I'm a player now, and I think that has been great. That she was number 1 seed, in this, I think, this event. But it's just great to see someone like that. She's a small girl, small frame, so she's everybody. All the children that are playing, say, well, I can play well as she can. So you're in there. You everything's coming to the surface.
Yeah.
And I think, Ash is, she's she's from Queensland, that's where I came from.
From Ipswich.
Oh, that's it. Well, I'm from Rockhampton.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
She's from nearby, right?
Yeah.
Not too far.
Yeah.
Rod, we were just listening to Roger Federer's press conference. I know the two of you have formed a special bond because of the Laver Cup and beyond. We also have Serena Williams on court. How impressed have you been with these older champions who are continuing their careers?
Yeah, no, it's amazing because when Roger was 36, I guess, down at the Australian.
Yep.
And I spent a fair bit of time with him, just bumming around. And here he comes, 36, he comes off and he wins. He beats Nadal in the final, and it's a huge feat to at 36, which most people's careers have ended. He is in the middle of another resurgence of being able to compete, and at 38, I still see him playing just unbelievable tennis, and so there's time to compete, and I think he certainly proved it, and I'll see him at the Laver Cup in Geneva.
Yes, you will. You were actually one of the pioneers to play. Didn't you play into your late 30s or beyond?
Yeah, I did. I got to be, I think, 38. It was the WCT last 8, the finals, and I remember playing. Who did I play? Beyond Borg.
Wow.
Oh, that guy.
Really?
And
that guy.
he's 18 and I'm 38.
Crossover of generations.
So that,
There's always
but at least I said, you're going to work to win this match. And so he beat me in 5 sets.
Okay, but you made him work.
But we were just good friends.
Huh.
There's always a discussion about who's the greatest, who's the best. We're lucky enough to be living in an era where we all see the big 3 compete. But for you, what is your definition of a champion? What is a champion in your mind?
For me, I think you've got to go into the era you're in. If you're the best of your era, that's as good as it's ever going to get, because no one's the best of all ever. It's like whether it be Roger or Laver, that have been playing here now for the last 12, 15 years. I think that you can say someone like Roger, because of the amount of events he's won, and the mere fact that he loves the game and is prepared to support it and do whatever he can to make it a better game. And so I think someone like in that era, I tend to feel that Roger would probably be number 1.
Particularly the changes in technology that you mentioned, the new rackets. I mean, it's hard to quantify one generation to the next because the game is different. It's constantly evolving, which is what makes it fun.
Yeah, no, it's a different world out there now. When you look at the technology, the racket, the amount of young children that are playing. How about 6'6" guys, and now 7 feet. There's a few out there that are close to 7 feet, and that unfortunately is going to be a detriment to the game in many ways, because if you're 6'6", 6'8", and you can serve at 140 mile an hour,
wow,
which they can, then how many rallies do you think we're going to have?
Not very many.
If you're both 6'6" or 6'8", you're looking at a match that is going to be an ace, a double fault, an ace, a double fault, and not very many returns.
It's an interesting point.
That's the only thing that is a situation that maybe they have to change the rules a little bit. Maybe you only get 1 serve.
Yeah,
you don't get 2 serves.
Oh, I hadn't heard that one before. I like that.
But maybe I'm going way ahead of myself.
No, I think it's interesting that you're thinking about innovation, even at this point. We have to let you go, but before we do, just quickly, what do you eat and drink at the U.S. Open? If somebody wants to know what the Rod Laver eats at the U.S. Open, tell everybody. Do you have a favorite thing? Do you?
Eat-wise, no, but I've been known to have a few beers over here.
Good.
Nothing wrong with that.
Have a Heineken.
Heineken, yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much. We really and happy
The
50th
legend,
anniversary
Rod
to
Laver.
you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, as far as being able to play 50 years and still be able to appreciate what you did do, and then seeing what the players are doing as of today. And I think not Nadal, but Djokovic potentially, could be in that same position to be able to win all 4 in 1 year.
Wow.
Sure could. Sure could. Hasn't done it yet. Sure could. Rod Laver, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Go get that beer now,
Cheers,
okay?
Rod. Amazing.
Our thanks to Rod.